I'm making this video to dispel the illusion that Destiny 2 is a free-to-try game and not a free-to-play game. A lot of people seem to be confused about what a free-to-play player actually has access to in the game. And honestly, I can understand where they're coming from, because Bungie themselves does a shit job clarifying that for newer players. Even as I was making this video, it was extremely difficult to find information about which Nightfalls are free-to-play, and if the seasonal content that gets added back into the game is made available to free-to-play players. Before I begin, I want to make some things perfectly clear. I do not like the state of microtransactions currently in the game, nor do I support it. Buying expansions and paid DLC is way harder than it should be. And the new player experience is severely lacking a narrative players can follow. I am by no means defending Bungie. I'm just looking at things objectively and backing up what I'm saying with indisputable facts by using numbers, since numbers don't lie. I'm going to start with talking about how much content was available to players who bought both Destiny 1 and 2 at launch, and compare it to the free-to-play experience Destiny 2 has currently during the making of this video. And the reason why I'm using the launch versions of the Destiny games for my comparisons is because I'm framing this argument from the perspective of a new player. Meaning that for a new player who is new to the franchise, what is it like to start playing Destiny for the first time as of right now, compared to what it was like for us veteran players who played Destiny 1 and 2 for the first time. Now onto the comparisons, starting with Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was released exclusively on consoles back in 2014, and it costed $60 for you to load into the game and start playing. In the first game, there wasn't really much of a story. This clip basically encapsulates what the story of Destiny 1 was at launch.
Well fought.
You're here.
We haven't got much time.
Who are you?
Why have you been watching us?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
But why?
As for the rest of the content in the game, for PvE stuff, Destiny 1 had 1 raid and 6 strikes in total, 1 being a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, remember that? That sure sucked. Anyways, for PvP content, they had 11 maps in total, 1 being a PlayStation exclusive. Now let's talk about the launch of Destiny 2, which released back in 2017 for $60. Vanilla Destiny 2 actually had a story this time around with the Red War campaign, which was actually good.
What makes your guardians worthy of the light? What is the price of such power and immortality?
Devotion. Self-sacrifice. Death.
Death. Explain.
Devotion inspires bravery. Bravery inspires sacrifice. Sacrifice leads to death. So, feel free to kill yourself.
As for PvE content, it's pretty much the same deal as Destiny 1. There was 1 raid and 6 strikes, with 1 being a PlayStation exclusive. Then for PvP content, they had 12 maps total, with 1 being a PlayStation exclusive. And that's pretty much everything both Destiny 1 and 2 had to offer at launch. Now let's look at what is available for free-to-play players in Destiny 2 currently. Like I mentioned before, there is no campaign or narrative to follow for new players who start the game. There is only the Destiny 2 timeline feature, where you can read summaries about what happened in the past, and there's a few campaign missions you can play from previous expansions. But honestly, this isn't sufficient for new players who want to immerse themselves in the Destiny universe or try to follow the narrative. This is definitely the biggest weakness of the free-to-play experience. As for what is available, it's quite surprising actually. There's a total of 3 raids and 26 strikes that are playable from the Vanguard's Ops playlist, 18 of which you can play the Nightfall versions. And that's assuming you can play the Nightfall version of the Battlegrounds as a free-to-play player. I had a hard time finding this information online, and Bungie's own website lacked any concrete information. The reason I believe you can play the Battlegrounds Nightfalls as a free-to-play player is because I created a new account the week the Mars Battleground Nightfall was active, and saw in the Vanguard node that the Nightfall was available for me to play. The last time Bungie clarified on which Nightfalls are available for free-to-play players was back in April in 2021. Like, come on, Bungie. You need to do better. Then for PvP, there's currently 26 maps with the map returning next season, adding up to 27 total maps. So when we do a one-to-one comparison between these gaming experiences, you can obviously see how much more content the free-to-play version of Destiny 2 has to play through. And if this isn't enough to convince you that Destiny 2 is free-to-play, there is actually even more content you can play. There is the Gambit mode, which has 4 maps, with 1 map returning next season. Yeah, okay, look, I understand the veteran players don't exactly get aroused as much as we did when it was first introduced, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm approaching this from the new player perspective. I still remember briefly revisiting Destiny 2 back in 2019, and coming back again in 2021, and enjoying Gambit for a couple of seasons. Then there's the new 6-player activity called Dares of Eternity, which is a lot of fun.
Inconceivable horse proclaims it utterly bonkers. A powerful Vex takes the stage. The horse demands, I tell you to have fun out there.
And the final piece of playable content I'm going to talk about is the Prophecy Dungeon, which brought back the loot from Trials of the Nine. So again, as we compare the game experiences side by side, you can undoubtedly see how loaded the free-to-play experience is compared to the launch experiences for both Destiny games. And guess what? There's still a lot more content you can experience as a free-to-play player, but I'm not going to talk about it in my video. That's because CB Gray did a really good job covering what else you can play besides what I've covered in this video. So if you want to see what else you can do as a free-to-play player, you can check out his video. Or if you want to see the journey of a free-to-play experience, you can check out Swesticle's video. Now with the comparisons out of the way, I do have some solutions as for what Bungie could do to improve the new player experience. And the solutions that I'm gonna propose are 100% required at the bare minimum. They need to bring back the Red War campaign without question, and if they can't do that, they at least need narrative content equivalent to that of a campaign. What they have now and what they seemingly plan on doing is not sufficient. They need to make a mega bundle with all paid content, including all the dungeons. They need an itemized list or table detailing what is and isn't available in the free-to-play experience, like how every other MMO with a free-to-play model does with their games. A new player who wants to get into Destiny shouldn't spend literal hours on the internet looking up articles and watching YouTube videos trying to figure out which content is locked behind DLC. This is absurd, and it's one of the many reasons why veteran players don't wholeheartedly recommend Destiny 2 to anyone who is slightly interested in playing the game. And that's partly because we veteran players don't know with 100% certainty what free-to-play players have access to. I don't know what is going on inside Bungie, but they seriously need to get their shit together. To those of you that made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate you. Now, I know all of you are smart and intelligent people, so I don't need to tell you how these buttons work. Right? Of course not. Also, if you want to talk about video games or whatever, you can head over to twitch.tv/honestpug to catch one of my streams. You can find out whenever I go live by checking my Twitter. Currently, I'm giving away free PC games based off of my follower goals. I have at least over 200 games to give away listed under the giveaways channel in my Discord. And once again, thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there, and until next time.